Hello, I'm glad you're here again. Today's episode begins with me collecting the bales after I finished mowing the lawn. Write in the comments how far you think we can go with the story today. When the trailer was full, I put it down next to the shed as usual and let the silage ferment. And since I didn't know what else to do in the next 2 days, that's why I went to sleep. Everyone deserves a break, right? I felt a little lonely here alone on the farm, so I bought a cow shed. Not that I wasn't lonely after that, but I will feel better when the cows are here. I built the concrete road around the cow shed. I also bought high-powered lights to see well in the dark as it gets dark very quickly in the winter. I also fixed small terrain issues. If I do something, I do it properly. In the meantime, the silage fermented, but I didn't sell it now because the cows eat it. So I took them and packed them next to the cow shed. That way I only have to buy them hay and straw. So at least I don't have to buy silage, and I will have to do more things. I also had to buy a forage mixer wagon. This mixes silage, straw, and hay into TMR. TMR, when mixed in the perfect ratio, is very useful because cows will give a lot of milk because of it. As I said before, I had to buy hay and straw for TMR. I haven't bought much yet, just as much as my money allowed. They helped me load my trailer again at the store. And finally, with the remaining money, I bought a couple of cows. I only bought 3 cows now, the rest later. When I got home, I mixed the TMR and fed the cows because they were very hungry. If they are hungry, they do not produce milk. However, if they are properly fed, they produce a lot of milk. I was tired, so I went to sleep. By the next day, I already had 290 liters of milk. Although they still had something to eat, I filled their feeders completely so they wouldn't run out. Then I bought 18 more cows for 29,700 euros. That's 21 already. Fortunately, they had a good time. I hope it stays that way. Then I went to sleep. I started the next day by feeding the cows, hoping the rain would stop, because the yield decreases in the rain, and less yield equals less money. I had already run out of hay and straw, so I had to buy that too. I bought 6 hay and 4 straw bales. By the time I got home, the rain had finally stopped, and I bought 10 more cows again for 16,500 euros. I want as many cows as I can fit in the shed, and it's finally time to harvest soybeans with the new harvester. I took a break and bought a tanker in which I could sell the milk. Then I concreted a larger area so that I don't have to walk in the mud all the time. I designed the parts covered with concrete in such a way that I can easily turn around with the tractor. I was constantly trying to improve my farm, make it more homely, and these little things helped a lot to make the farm look good. What do you think? Do you like the farm so far? I'm trying to make it compact. Everything should be close, but not crowded. I want everything to have its place. I already had 3,410 liters of milk, and I quickly transferred it to the tanker. Then I decided to make a road behind the shed so that I could easily go around with trailers like the tanker. After all, I didn't want to always go through the shed with everything, especially if something doesn't fit there. That way I didn't have to constantly reverse the tractor when I went to sell the milk. I then attached the forage mixer wagon to the tractor and filled the cows' feeders. I always made sure that they had something to eat so that they would give a lot of milk. Jack then called me to help him empty the harvester so he could finish faster. I'm not lying, it's a huge help to have such a friend. When we finished harvesting, I emptied the harvester into the silo. Before I put the harvester away until the next season, I washed it well so that it wouldn't be ruined by the amount of dirt. I then emptied the remaining soybeans from the trailer into the silo. It was a good season. I harvested a lot of soybeans this year as well. For the joy of it, it was time to reward myself, so I built fences. I fenced off different parts of the farm a bit. This made it even more homely. It is very important to me that the farm is organized so that everything has its place. For example, when I finish a job, I always put the vehicles back in their place. That way I always know where to look for my things. I didn't want to sleep yet. I had a lot to do. So I started plowing the field. When I finished, I went to rest. The next day, I fed the cows as usual. I won't show this all the time, but you should know that I started all of my day with this task. That was all I had to do for the day, so I went back to sleep. In the morning, I was able to fill the trailer with 8,000 liters of milk and set off for the store. They paid me 16,169 euros for this many liters of milk. It was worth buying the cows. There was nothing to do during the winter months, so I took time off until March. However, I was able to sell 8,000 liters of milk again in March. I sold it for about the same price. I received 17,416 euros for it. When I got home, it started to rain. I don't like working in the rain. That's why I went to sleep. In the morning, I noticed that the fertilizer had run out, so I quickly went down to the store. And when I got home, I started fertilizing the field. That way, I will only have to do this once after planting. It was April, so I could start planting soybeans. Yes, I still planted this, because it was the plant I could sell the most expensively, and I had all the tools for it from planting to harvesting. I called Jack to help me with the planting while I cut grass and make silage bales. He said that he was very happy to help me because I always pay him well for his work. So when he came over, I started baling. I had a lot of cows, and that meant they ate a lot. If I wanted to feed them continuously, I had to make a lot of silage. Jack said something happened at home, so he had to go. I don't blame him, because family comes first. That's why I finished the planting. I checked when I can sell soybeans at the most expensive price, because my silo is still full, and it turned out to be in June. I had nothing else to do, so I slept through the day. After I fed the cows, I had days off because there was nothing to do on the farm. In June, my tanker trailer was full of milk and it was time to sell the soybeans. There were 46,146 liters of soybeans in the silo, so I loaded that into a trailer and took it to the store. They paid me 161,936 euros. I didn't expect so much money. You will find out what I did with this money in the next episode. Please let me know in the comments how you like my stories so far. Thank you for being here. Bye guys.